There's a sound that lives somewhere in the back of our memory, even if we've never touched the machine that made it. A carriage return, that little metal ring right before the next line starts. None of us grew up on typewriters, and yet the second we hear that click, something in us just knows it. Epomaker built a keyboard around that feeling, and it's called the Glyph. And the moment we opened this box, we weren't thinking about specs or switches. We were thinking about our grandmother's old desk and how something this modern managed to feel that familiar. Let's live through this one together. Well, the box already had us before we even opened it. Purple and white, the Glyph illustrated right there on the front, and this bold little promise printed underneath. 83 keys, one knob, dual screens. Lifting the lid, that thick black foam gives way, and the first thing we got is a small purple card, documentation, with QR codes tucked on the back leading to the manual, the driver, their Discord. And in that tiny moment, it felt less like unboxing a product and more like being handed an invitation into something bigger. Then, finally, the keyboard itself. Underneath it, a compartment holding the wrist rest. 3 soft, cushioned sections wrapped just as carefully. And tucked into the last corner, the little extras that always make a box feel generous, a coiled white braided cable, a puller shaped for both keycaps and switches, spare feet, and 3 backup wisteria switches in that same purple the box wore. Nothing about this felt rushed. It felt considered. And then we actually held it. Off-white, round keycaps, that quiet seafoam green sitting on escape and enter, like a wink rather than a shout. Up top, those 2 screens glow softly, one telling time and connection status, the other just quietly counting the date, like it's keeping its own private calendar. What surprised us most was the weight. This thing sits heavier in your hands than you expect, around 1.18 kilograms, and once we learned why, it made sense. An 8,000 milliamp hour battery and an aluminum plate living inside the frame. We gave the chassis a flick, half expecting some hollow give, and got nothing but a solid, confident thud back. That's the top-mounted build talking, the plate bolted directly into the case, and it's the reason every keystroke here feels certain rather than cushioned. Flip it around and there's a magnetic hatch hiding the 2.4G dongle underneath, which honestly felt like a small act of kindness from the designers because we've all lost one of those things in a drawer somewhere. This is where the keyboard stopped being an object and started being a relationship. The Wisteria 5 2 switches underneath are linear, and the first few minutes of typing on them felt like discovering a new handwriting style. Type gently, and the sound comes out almost creamy, soft, rounded off by the 6 layers of dampening hiding inside. But push down harder, let the keys bottom out, and suddenly the sound opens up into something brighter, more alive. It's more like a real clack, echoing off that rigid plate. The round keycaps took some getting used to. We won't pretend otherwise. Our fingers, trained for years on flat square caps, kept sliding just slightly off-center in the first sitting. A few extra typos slipping through before our hands remembered how to trust the new shape. But something about that struggle made the eventual comfort feel earned. And the stabilizers underneath the bigger keys, the spacebar, enter, shift, gave 0 rattle straight out of the box, which almost never happens, and quietly told us this board wasn't just dressed up for looks. The one thing that tested our patience was the height. With barely 1 to 2 degrees of tilt from the feet, and the board already sitting tall, that wrist rest went from a nice touch to something we genuinely needed just to feel at ease. Underneath the nostalgia, this keyboard still had to prove it could keep up, and it did. Bluetooth, a 2.4 GHz dongle, and wired USB-C, switching between all 3 with a single toggle on the back, and Bluetooth alone holding 3 paired devices at once. We ran it through a gaming session just to catch it slipping, and it never did. Every keystroke landed exactly when we expected it to, even wireless, writing on a 1000 Hz polling rate and full NKRO that let us slam every key at once without losing a single one. And that battery just kept going, easily a month or two before needing another charge, depending on how much we leaned on the RGB in the screens. Officially, it's built for Windows, Mac, and Android, but we threw it at our iPad without a second thought, and it worked like it belonged there too. There's even a little slot up top for propping a phone or tablet, and using it that way turned our desk into something that felt less like a workstation and more like a writing corner. Opening the software felt like being handed the keys to something much deeper than we expected. Key binding, combo keys, macros that pick up mouse clicks right alongside keystrokes, a function layer split between what's locked in and what's ours to rewrite. There's SOCD support too, letting the board behave almost like a magnetic keyboard when two opposing keys fight for control. The one thing we wanted and couldn't have was control over that lever. It's locked to enter and backspace no matter what, and we couldn't help imagining how satisfying it would have been to use it for turning pages in an ebook instead. Where the software really won us over was the screen. We uploaded a GIF, saved the animation, wrote it to the keyboard, and within a minute that little display had a personality of its own. There's a community share tab too, filled with other people's animations, RGB profiles, and macros, free to grab without even making an account. By the end of this, we weren't just reviewing a keyboard, we were saying goodbye to one we'd gotten attached to. The Epomaker Glyph isn't chasing speed records or minimalism, it's chasing feeling, and it gets there. Yes, the typing angle takes patience. The lever is more sentiment than function, and the driver has a couple of edges left unpolished. But every time we sat down to type on this thing, it pulled us in a little, made the act of writing feel like something worth slowing down for. If what you're after is a keyboard with a personality of its own, this one earns its place on the desk. And maybe in the memory too. That was all. Share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to know. Thanks for watching. Give it a like and subscribe for more videos.